midwives from Murray Town Health Center, and they're so excited about sharing with me what they had just learned, and it was focused on respectful care.
Dr. Koki Agarwal, Vice President of JAPIGO and Director of USAID's Momentum Country and Global Leadership Program, recalls a recent visit to Sierra Leone and interacting with some nurses at a Freetown Health Center about their experience undergoing training on respectful maternity care.
Respectful maternity care was super important to them because they felt like ever since they had training and they have changed their attitude, they are seeing more women come in. And the only thing they mentioned that they had changed was that they talk to people kindly, they talk with a smile, and they offer a smile to a patient, and they allow a companion with the woman at birth.
She was speaking on the eve of the opening of the International Maternal Newborn Health Conference 2023, held in Cape Town, South Africa from May 8 to 11. IMNHC provides a platform for global health experts, political leaders and activists to find pathways to drive collaboration, coordination, cross-country learning and alignment within the maternal and newborn health community. The magnificent Cape Town International Convention Center, located at the heart of the city, hosted this year's event comprising over 180 sessions, including 7 plenaries. I was among 12 journalists selected from across the world as IMNHC2023 Press Fellows, representing Sierra Leone. Other fellows came from Kenya, Nigeria, Zimbabwe, Uganda, UK, US, India, and the host country. The fellowship provided journalists exclusive access to session speakers, media briefings, and interviews with world and industry leaders, as well as civil society activists. A reproductive health expert with a combined 4 decades of service delivery experience and promoting policy dialogue and advocacy for reform, Dr. Agarwal's presentation on the state of global maternal and newborn health was meant to set the stage for the fellows ahead of the commencement of the conference.
So every day, 800 women die as a result of pregnancy and childbirth. That means one woman almost every 2 minutes. And if you think of it, it's like 3 jumbo jets crashing every day.
WHO Director General Dr. Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus re-echoed those concerns in his address to the over 1,800 delegates in the opening plenary, warning that the world was at risk of not meeting the maternal, newborn and stillbirth target of the Sustainable Development Goals if urgent action was not taken.
While we have made much progress on reducing maternal and newborn mortality in the past 20 years, reductions in maternal deaths have now plateaued, and newborn mortality still accounts for almost half of under 5 mortality. Every year, 4.5 million mothers, newborns, and stillborns die from preventable causes. Where a child is born or how much money its family has should not determine whether it lives or dies.
Both Dr. Ghebreyesus and Dr. Agarwal's warnings were based on a newly released UN report, Improving Maternal and Newborn Health and Survival and Reducing Stillbirth Progress Report 2023. This promotional video breaks down the details of the report.
Maternal newborn health and stillborn reduction has been made, but it has been inconsistent, too slow, and often does not account for the combined needs of the mother and newborn. In 2000, neonatal mortality accounted for 41% of under 5 deaths globally, but it is not reducing at the same speed as under 5 mortality. And in 2021, it accounted for 47% of under 5 deaths. From 2000 to 2015, the maternal mortality ratio declined by 33%, but since 2015, it has barely declined at all. A baby is stillborn once every 16 seconds. If current trends persist, 60 countries will not meet the SDG target for maternal and newborn mortality and stillborn reduction by 2030.
The opening plenary featured the stories of some of the women who experienced the reality captured in these statistics. Ugandan Treasure Luantali is still emotional when speaking about her baby, lost through stillbirth in 2021 due to delayed access to proper care at a health center. South African Sebabatso Sawane has seen life on all angles. Born into poverty and experiencing how hard it is to access quality health care, and then working as a midwife in both poor and resource-rich facilities. These women are driving grassroots movements as part of a global action to change this situation. And because of their contributions, there were also stories of hope in Cape Town, as illustrated by country testimonies and promising stories.
We heard earlier how the progress that we've been seeing over the years has plateaued. This community coming together can change that. Our vision of a more resilient and equitable world starts with healthy mothers delivering healthy babies. One of the most important ways to support women is by investing in their health, in the tools, services, and counseling that they need to live healthy, productive lives.
This South African band gave a cultural touch to the opening session prior to the discussions that included this riveting panel featuring experts with vast experiences in clinical, health systems and research perspectives. In between, conference participants had time to socialize as in the opening reception. In the course of the 4 days, several side events were held in and around the conference venue, witnessing unveiling of reports, exploring progress or the lack of it in the global fight against maternal and newborn deaths, as well as studies with potential to address some of the factors that connive to inflict these tragedies. This team of researchers from the WHO Postpartum Hemorrhage Summit Roadmap briefs the IMNHC Press Fellows on a potential solution for one of the leading causes of maternal deaths in poor countries like Sierra Leone. At the Zait Museum of Contemporary Art Africa in the Cape Town waterfront area, the Born Too Soon report was launched for the second time after the global online launch. Born Too Soon is a global movement that was hatched in 2012 with the launch of its first report. It sets an ambitious agenda to reduce the burden of preterm birth by addressing factors both outside and within the health systems, including provision of high-quality, respectful care for women and babies so that they can survive and thrive, no matter where they are born. This team from the Born Too Soon movement provides more details to the Press Fellows.
And what this report does is look at what was not just a report but a movement 10 years ago, and what has changed and what has not changed. And it really highlights a lot of the same themes that we're hearing at this meeting in terms of progress for women and for newborns.
The successes of this movement is illustrated by the work of parent advocates like Tendai Mutema and Doris Molel. Tendai, a Zimbabwean, is a preterm mom who knows how it feels giving birth to babies before they are due and how society views people like her.
Above everything else that I do, my superpower is being a criminal. A superpower because at some point I thought that was my defect, that I could not carry to 9 months. I had my first child in 2012 when Born Too Soon started its first report, and I was surrounded by a lot of support, but no one understood what being a premature mom meant.
For Doris, she was born prematurely, but unlike thousands of her compatriots, she and her twin brother were lucky to survive.
I'm coming from an ethnic society. I'm a Maasai by tribe, where prematurity is highly considered as a curse. And sharing these stories with you all inspires me to determine what it means to care for a premature baby, and at some point, what a premature baby means when he or she is well cared. That means they can thrive and go and be anybody they wish to be.
Through her foundation, the former beauty queen is fighting to change perceptions and influence policy changes in her country to prevent premature deaths and the negative impact on families.
There's a shortage of specialists. It's great when you have equipment like x-rays, except when there's nobody.
About 30 countries were selected through a competitive process to present country delegations in Cape Town. Among them, Sierra Leone and two of its Mano River Basin neighbors, Liberia and Cote d'Ivoire. The Sierra Leonean team was headed by Dr. Tom Cisse, Director of Reproductive and Child Health in the Ministry of Health and Sanitation. In the progress report, Sierra Leone was recognized among 7 countries for their efforts against maternal and newborn deaths through unique innovative interventions. On Country Exhibition Day, Dr. Cisse and his team are at hand to explain how a country that was once labeled the most dangerous place to give birth in attained this achievement.
And if you look through the slide, it talks about the areas that we are focused on, which include getting the right policy environment, expanding the availability and accessibility of the services, capacity building and retention of health workers, providing medical supplies and equipment management and data systems and mechanisms. Of course, what we've done around policy is we've developed the RMN6 strategy, which is the overarching strategy for reproductive and child health services. We've also developed the Every Newborn Action Plan, which is a plan that articulates our strategy and our key intervention that we want to address for neonatal care. And that plan was very instrumental in attracting the funding that we use to be able to establish the special care baby units in Sierra Leone. Of course.
For a long time, Sierra Leone was known to have one of the highest rates of maternal mortality in the world.
A lot of times what we see in many countries, because we also saw when presentations were happening, that sometimes we focus on the mother at the expense of the neonate and the child. Understand? And a lot of times when the child dies, the woman goes back to get pregnant and goes through the whole risky cycle. Understand? So we want to ensure that in our health approach, in our health strategies, we address the mother, the neonate and the child so that gives us a more comprehensive health response.
Bento Zogule Tehunge is passionately sharing with guests Liberia's journey in its battle against one of the world's highest rates of maternal and infant mortality. Liberia and Sierra Leone not only share similar culture and tradition as close neighbors, they also share similar dark experiences that have undermined their health sectors, placing both countries at the bottom of most global development indices, from civil war to deadly epidemics, including the West African Ebola epidemic in 2014, among other tragedies. While its neighbor is praised for reducing neonatal deaths through introducing and improving special baby care units, Liberia is recognized for its efforts in building a strong workforce of midwives, which has been the source of its strength. As Director of Family Health Program, Bento's office has the oversight responsibility for reproductive, maternal, newborn, child, and adolescent health.
And we know that to be able to have the quality of birth, it has to be led by midwives. And so our story started from after the war that we had, and then the Ebola that we had. Right after war, we were trying to recuperate, and then we had Ebola. All of these things came our way. All of the indicators were very bad. And as we said, meanwhile, we are looking towards maternal and newborn care. So Liberia had a high maternal mortality ratio. And so another thing that happened to us, the newborns were also dying very high.
IMNHC is organized by the airline MNH, a global initiative funded by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation in collaboration with the U.S. Agency for International Development. This conference is the first since 2015, and it is the maiden edition of what is henceforth a biennial event, with the next conference slated for 2025. The general expectation is that when the world gathers next, wherever it may be, the celebration will be on the backdrop of meaningful progress.